This design calls for a paved area running from the side of an existing deck through here. There's a fireplace area there, and movement of pedestrians can head through this direction and then down onto some steps. And there are a couple of polylines. Here's the first, delineating the main paved area, and then an offset to give a zone for some header materials. What I want to show here is that a polyline can be edited very easily, and it's important to master that technique. The offset was quick and easy. We just selected this line here and offset 230 millimeters in this instance. But the offset took the outer polyline down into an area that will be delineated by some rectangles for steps. So I want to edit that polyline. If I simply select the polyline, the simplest way to edit it is to take one of the vertices. So we can click on this vertex, it's number 71 in the series of vertices that delineate the polyline. So I can click on it. In effect, you make it hot. Now I've got OSnap on at the moment, a running OSnap at nearest. So I'll come over here to the object snap settings and I'll take nearest off, because in this instance, let's pick it again, and I'll click there. Now you can see I can move to where I want to be, and I can take a single step offset OSnap, just one OSnap. I'll pick intersection because I want to move that vertex to the intersection of those lines. Similarly, vertex number 70 I want to move, so I click it to make it hot, and then pick our intersection again and pick that one. So we now have, let's hit escape, we now have a polyline around the header area, which will work nicely in this instance. So learning to edit polylines is important. We've made other movies where if you draw a polyline, set a whole series of vertices. I've made a very thick polyline here. I've set my line weight at 0.5 so that you can see these quite easily. If we pick that polyline, it's not a closed polyline. If I draw the polyline again and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then right click and say I'm going to enter at closed, that becomes a closed polyline, and I can pick and measure the area enclosed by that polyline by referring to the properties box. But I can move the vertices quite easily, like so. I can add extra vertices. If I make that one number 3 hot and right click and insert a vertex, can you see I've added an extra vertex? So you can to get finer control over a shape, you can add extra vertices anywhere you want on a polyline. The other thing, of course, that you can do is edit and smooth curve a polyline. There are a number of different mathematical options for smooth curve. A quadratic B-spline will draw a line through, if you like, the average of those vertices. Can you see it's missing this one, it's gone inside, and so on. So we can adjust the curve of our polyline by simply getting hold of those vertices and making nice smooth shapes. Different options under here will give you a different appearance to the line. The fit spline will force the line through each vertex. So it's a different option. That was one of the first tools that you had for controlling fitting in the AutoCAD environment. But here we've got a lot of different options, different mathematical options. So editing polylines to start with, a very powerful tool, and editing them is a very good thing to master. The other thing that you might like to experiment with when playing, if you like, with polylines is, let's draw another one. We'll draw a polyline. We can start by right clicking, and we're going to say we're going to go into arc mode. So now we're drawing an arc and another arc. Now we want to right click and go into line mode. So there and there and there and there, and then right click to close. We can also fill a polyline. So we can fill it by clicking here. So there's a filled shape. It could have a border. So we can say yes, it's got a border. What's the border color? Well, we have a choice of any color we like, but we could make it white. So we now have a filled polyline with a red fill and a white border. We select the polyline again. You've got control over the elevation of the polyline. You've got control over the width of the polyline if you want. So there's an awful lot you can do with one single element. That's just one element, a polyline. I digress a little. What we needed to do in this design was to get our header area delineation correct.